live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. Friday, May 26th. We're going in depth tonight on the travel aspect of Memorial Day weekend, what you need to know, whether you're hitting the road, you're heading to the airport, maybe you're going to a national park, or maybe you're planning to get out and go recreate somewhere, perhaps on a river this weekend. We're touching on all of that. But before we go, as we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us during the show. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive. Join our conversation. We are virtually everywhere on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can send us a direct message, any of those platforms there, to be sure to weigh in on the program. Hey, before we get in depth, or at least as we get going, let's take a look at this UDOT camera, I-15 right now, taking a look at traffic on this Friday evening as we hit the 5:30 portion of the commute. This is in Centerville, Davis County. I would say this is smooth sailing given what we've seen in different parts of the state. So let's head down to Utah County right now, a little bit more on the southern side here in Lehigh, and traffic moving smoothly in the northbound lanes. But if you're heading south from Lehigh, perhaps down to American Fork, Provo, even further Spanish Fork, you might hit some traffic if you're heading down that way right now. So depends on where you're headed right here on this Friday evening. Holiday travel underway in the state of Utah, expected to be one of the busiest Memorial Day travel weekends since 2000. Millions of Americans are driving somewhere for the holiday weekend, despite a recent surge in gas prices. Daniel Woodruff joining us live now in the 2 News Mobile Weather Lab. Daniel, always good to see you here on 2 News Live. Where are you right now?
Hey, Brian. So we have been driving throughout the Salt Lake and Utah County areas. I'll say at the outset, it took us a long time to get from downtown Salt Lake to Lehigh. Then we went a little bit further, turned around. I'll show you now where exactly we're at. So you can see here, we are at the point of the mountain, just entering Salt Lake County. And the traffic is not bad. It was much, much worse going southbound. Definitely a lot of people out on the roads. In fact, AAA says nationwide, more than 42 million Americans will be hitting the roads in some way this Labor Day, not yet, Memorial Day weekend. And that means they're driving at least 50 miles away from their home. Talked to one lady who was on her way to go camping in Wyoming. The time for this weekend comes at a point when gas prices have really surged lately. The national average is $3.57, but here in Utah, we are paying $4.07 a gallon for gas, Brian.
Willing to add my own 2 cents here. I filled up this morning, Fort Union area, and paid $4.09. That was with 10 cents off on a credit. How nice is that when you feel like you're getting a steal when you're really not? Daniel, I know you spent time with Utah Highway Patrol today. What were they looking at from driving behaviors on the road? What did you see?
Yeah, so they basically said they look for speeding, seatbelt violations, distracted driving, and drunken driving. Those are kind of the 4 big ones. With drunken driving, it's obvious, and they do these extra DUI enforcements on the holiday weekends. But really, the speeding aspect, they see a lot of excessive speeders going over 100 miles an hour. They see a lot of people not wearing their seatbelts, which is a critical life-saving measure. And so they say they want to make sure that all of these elements are in a row as people go out on the holiday weekend. They say, unfortunately, this is often a weekend where we see quite a few fatal crashes. They're hoping to prevent that as much as possible this weekend.
Daniel Woodruff live for us in the 2 News Mobile Weather Lab. Luckily, we're not talking about too much weather tonight, but more about the traffic or what you may encounter on the roads. Daniel, thanks so much. Memorial Day, also the start of the 100 deadliest days. Daniel mentioned Labor Day. This goes to Labor Day. It's coined that phrase by UDOT and DPS. This is when traffic fatalities nearly double. And hard to imagine that stat because there have been almost 100 fatalities on our roads so far this year alone. Earlier this week, I spoke with John Gleason with Utah Department of Transportation about their patrols this year. The year-over-year decrease in fatalities up to this point. We also talked about how these are real lives. They're not just numbers. These are families, these are friends, these are people you and I know and love losing their lives on our roads. So heed all those warnings. He's asking everyone to go back to the basics behind the wheel and start by doing that this weekend on a holiday weekend. You can find our full interview over on our KUTV YouTube page. Daniel mentioned gas prices. Let's take a look at those right now. So the national average right here, $3.57. For some reason, the state of Utah, we always seem to be a little bit higher here. Last month, $3.79. Last year, you may remember this time frame. We were itching up towards $5 a gallon at this point. We were talking about gas every day. It was about $4.66 this time last year. Breaking things down statewide here as you may hit the road this Memorial Day weekend to do something all across the state of Utah. If you're in Salt Lake, if you're in Utah counties looking to fill up on regular unleaded, this would be $4.10. It's exactly what I paid this morning. Cache County, a little bit higher, heading north, $4.14, a little bit north, obviously, of Salt Lake. Davis County, you're saving maybe 5 cents if you're driving south from Cache County. Washington County, so parts of southern Utah now, just sneaking over $4 a gallon. And if you're over in the Moab area in Grand County, you're basically equal seeing here. Sometimes there is a major difference in some of the more rural areas of the state, not really seeing it right now. Did you get this push alert on your phone? If you did, we sent it out to let people know about local gas prices as you head out on the roads. We want you to know what to look for. We want you to be prepared to get updates like this. Be sure to download our 2 News mobile app. If you're planning to fly this Memorial Day weekend out of Salt Lake City, yesterday and today, typically the busiest days at Salt Lake International Airport. So on Thursday, they anticipated 26,000 passengers and about 27,000 passengers today.
Well, Memorial Day is the traditional kickoff to summer travel, so it's a little busier time, but as far as being record-breaking, we're not expecting that. We just came off of a very busy, very successful winter season where we had some record-breaking numbers over President's Day. I think we were up to 36,000 plus on President's Day. So in comparison to that, we're not expecting it to be that busy, but definitely it's a little busier than just your average May.
What are you asking of travelers when allowing extra time? That sort of thing with the airport, obviously very under construction still. So there's still things going on that would not be considered normal when everything is all said and done.
Yeah, there is construction going on, but I don't think any of that should disrupt a passenger's experience at the airport. We did just recently open up 5 additional gates. And so the thing that passengers who have been to the new airport will see when they come out is once they exit the security checkpoint, they go to the plaza. In the past, they have only been able to go left. Now passengers are also able to go right, and there's 5 additional Delta gates opened up. As construction continues, we'll be opening up 4 more gates in August, and then the remaining 13 gates in October, along with 19 more concessions. So that's coming. And then, of course, we have more construction that will allow us to open more gates in 2024. So there is some construction on the entrance and exit to the airport. So just be aware of that. Again, it shouldn't be slowing down traffic, but it's just something to be aware of when you see it, that it might be a little slower than usual. Also, just allow plenty of time because you never know how long it's going to take to get parking, to check your bags, to go through security. But on the parking note, I don't think a lot of people are aware that you can actually reserve your parking in advance here at the airport. You can go online and do that. So if you want to streamline your experience through the airport, that's something that you can do in advance. So Thursday, Friday are 2 biggest days. And then with people returning, there isn't one big return day. People will trickle in after the holiday. So it's really Thursday and Friday to be aware of. And it's always a good idea to plan 2 hours to arrive at the airport prior to your departure time if it's a domestic flight. Now, if you're flying internationally, 3 hours is what we recommend.
So it's safe to say they projected 26,000 on Thursday. They exceeded those projections. So busier than normal at the airport this Memorial Day weekend. We want to hear from you at home. What are your travel plans for Memorial Day weekend? Most of you right now, after you scanned our QR code to weigh in, basically this poll has stayed the same for the last few hours. A lot of you are saying, I'm not going anywhere. Very few of you saying flying out of town. Very few of you driving out of the state. Some of you sticking around here in the Beehive State, but most of you are staying at home. What are you doing? Grilling? Hanging out on the patio? Continuing to go in depth on the upcoming Memorial Day weekend, popular time to get out and enjoy the Mighty Five. We're talking Arches, Canyonlands, Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, Zion National Parks. Let's talk about Zion, who had nearly 4.6 million visitors last year in 2022. Let's take a live look now at Springdale, near one of the entrances of the park. It is awfully quiet out there right now. Do not let this live shot, this live look in southern Utah fool you, because visitation numbers are actually down in 2023 to compare it to where things were last year. But Zion stays busy really no matter how you look at it. One of the more busy parks in the entire country. More than 82,000 visitors last Memorial Day weekend. This is typically one of the busiest, if not the busiest weekend out of the entire year at Zion.
One thing to keep in mind, no matter when you visit Zion during the summer, but especially during Memorial Day weekend, is that parking fills early. It's hard to predict exactly what time parking will fill here at Zion, but generally visitors who come early in the morning and later in the afternoon have a better chance of finding a parking spot in the park. And if you get here later in the day, you can always park in the town of Springdale and ride the free shuttle in order to get into the park. Our pedestrian and bicycle entrance will be open throughout the weekend, and we're looking forward to welcoming visitors.
Well, the National Park Service anticipates long lines at entrances, trailheads, visitor centers, some increased wait times for shuttles. They do recommend taking the shuttle if you can. Potential closures at the east and south entrances, and of course, heavy traffic in Springdale and in the park in general. Really hard to imagine that when we showed you that live traffic camera right now. So they implement these closures to prevent gridlocks in the park. There's a very good chance these closures will happen this weekend due to the amount of people heading there. Also, if you live in this area, you plan on driving through but not actually stopping at the park, might be best to avoid this area at all costs due to congestion and those potential closures. Let's continue to go in depth now, taking a look at the upcoming holiday weekend in Washington County. The Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue Team in Washington County responded to 3 call-outs alone on Wednesday. They've had a busy last week or so. Here's some brand new video from the Department of Public Safety showing the rescue in progress of a woman cliffed out on Wednesday night in southern Utah.
Taking the load in 3, 2, 1. Power check. Power good.
This is from Wednesday. Mom and son rafting the Virgin River when the raft tipped. Mom swam to shore, climbed up a rock face to look for her son. She got cliffed out, thus this hoist from DPS. The son was okay, also got out there with some help. This is the 3rd rescue of the day for search and rescue crews. DPS coming to help, but I spoke with search and rescue liaison Sergeant Daryl Cashin in Washington County about his concerns for the upcoming holiday weekend.
Looking at it from more of a, from 10 years of doing this, I have that fear that we are really going to have a lot of rescues this weekend. And I don't know that they're going to be particularly in one place or one type of activity. But with all the people down here, I'm expecting UTV accidents, hiking accidents, people stranded in the river in some fashion. I think we're gonna get a little bit of everything, and I think we're gonna have quite a few, and I hope I am wrong.
So with that said, what is the hope for people heading out this weekend in your neck of the woods?
I really hope that people look at what activity they're doing. If you're going hiking on a trail, first off, let somebody know if you're alone, which we don't recommend, but if you're alone, let somebody know where you're going, when you expect it back. Plan on the unexpected. A lot of these people hiking that have had injuries did not expect to be out there that long. So make sure you take extra supplies, water especially. It is very warm. We're starting to get heat, illness problems with people hiking. And, try and stay in an area where you can dial 911 if something goes wrong. If you're out UTVing, slow it down a little bit, take a little bit easy. If you're going in that river, wear PFDs. And you can't see anything under the water. It's still very dirty. So you don't know if there's obstructions under the water. You don't know if there's low head dams, which is what's happening in that particular location near Bloomington. There's a small low head, and it makes a hydraulic effect. So when people go over on it, it's spilling them off their flotation devices, their tubes and stuff. So wear a PFD. Most of them I've seen have not had any type of protection. So I'm asking people, not asking you not to recreate. I'm asking you to do it safely, wear that safety gear, and have a plan if you end up being there longer than you expect.
We showed you that brand new video. How about some brand new photos just into our newsroom? Last night, Washington County Search and Rescue went out to the Apple Valley area. A truck rolling off of Little Creek Mesa Road, a steep embankment. The truck was trying to get another vehicle past a boulder in the roadway. This area is typically for dirt bikes and smaller vehicles. The truck rolled down the cliff nearly 200 feet, hitting boulders and trees. The truck completely totaled. Miraculously here, the driver hiked back up the cliff and he made it there before rescuers could even arrive. Apparently minimal injuries. Pretty remarkable given the truck's condition, completely totaled as a result of this. Well, the message is pretty stern though. If you're gonna go out, just take those safety measures. You heard it from the search and rescue liaison. He's been doing this a long time. I've talked to Daryl a number of times about these exact same scenarios. They want you to go out. They want you to have fun. They want you to enjoy whatever you have for us in the forecast. But please just give them a chance.
It's already been a very busy year when it comes to search and rescue. So be smart. Don't take those risks. Okay, so here is your holiday weekend forecast. You'll notice though, Logan, Wasatch Front, Park City, Snowbird, northern Utah has a chance for those thunderstorms tomorrow and on Sunday. But again, it's almost like we're in August dealing with monsoon storms. They kind of go up in the afternoon and evening and then they fall apart. So if you have plans during the morning, good news, you're probably going to be dry. So do your hiking then, but keep your eyes to the sky overhead this weekend. However, drier air does move in. Still could see maybe a few stray thunderstorms in the mountains, but I think we're going to be okay and warmer on Memorial Day. So all those outdoor barbecues going to be just fine here along the Wasatch Front. Down in southern Utah, Brian, and that's where a lot of folks like to head Memorial Day weekend. We like to go down to southern Utah. It's still a little cool, maybe up towards Bear Lake. That's more of a July 4th thing. 80s and 90s, you should be okay down south.
Speaking from experience, of course. I love how you include Snowbird here because
there's a reason.
They are open.
They are open.
And then they are going to actually put the new balconies on the trams after this weekend, and they're going to roll them out for Father's Day.
Yeah, so they're going to close for about, what, 2 weeks?
Couple weeks.
Put that on, and then they're going to reopen. We'll see. They haven't announced it yet, but they might be open for July 4th. But they are going to close for a couple weeks. They are open, though, this weekend.
Let's take a look at your forecast. Those temps are mighty really impressive for southern Utah.
And you might want to jump into a large body of water. Well, just wait till you see these temperatures, water temperatures. Bear Lake, Flaming Gorge, Deer Creek, Pineview, Willard Bay, still in the 50s, probably too cold. If you are going to be boating or paddle boarding and you might fall into the water, make sure you have a life jacket on because it is still very cold, the water temperature. Jordanelle and Sun Hollow in the 60s, Lake Powell, Utah Lake, a little bit milder, close to 70 degrees. So we still have a chance for a shower or thunderstorm through this evening. However, by 8, 10 o'clock, it does look quiet, mostly cloudy skies, but you might want to grab a light jacket with these temperatures in the 60s. Any outdoor plans tonight? It is Friday. We're still tracking a little bit of rain out there right now, most of it out toward Tooele, and we have some light rain now across the west side of the Salt Lake Valley. A few showers in the mountains as well. Nothing too impressive, but we do have a couple rumbles of thunder. Southern Utah also has some light showers. If we're driving down to St. George tonight, you might encounter a few sprinkles in between Beaver and Cedar City, but generally things are beginning to wind down, and you'll see at 7 o'clock we have a little bit of rain near the Idaho border, a couple of these light lingering showers, few sprinkles. By about 9, 10 o'clock, it is pretty quiet out there, and same thing by tomorrow morning. Now by the afternoon, here we go again, scattered showers and thunderstorms bubbling up. You could be drifting into the valleys. Best chance, northern Utah, definitely not as active and dry down south. So if you head to those national parks, looks really nice. There could be a stray thunderstorm, so just keep that in mind, but your rain chance is very low. So this storm that's bringing those storm chances kind of just hangs out through Saturday and Sunday. It finally begins to move on Monday. So I mentioned that drier air moving in. It's going to be brief Monday and Tuesday because this storm gets closer to us by Wednesday and Thursday, and our storm chances are going up, especially here in northern Utah by the end of next week. So St. George, right now there's no rain in your forecast. We'll keep it sunny, near 90 tomorrow, 91 on Sunday, near 90 on Memorial Day. But notice how each day we're going to drop a degree or two for next week. We'll keep it partly cloudy, mid to upper 80s. We're going to be below normal in southern Utah next week. Salt Lake, 75 tomorrow, 79 on Monday. Memorial Day, we're at 83, 84 on Tuesday. Those are our warmest and our driest days. But again, we might see an isolated storm in the mountains. And then our storm chances here in the valleys go up a little bit by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as we drop back into the 70s.
What are your plans?
I don't have a whole lot of plans, Brian. Maybe we should go golfing.
It would be nice this weekend to do that. I mean,
would
it
be.
doesn't look like
in the morning.
So remember last time we did that, we actually caught a stray shower or a thunderstorm
that could happen
passing through. So it might be a good idea, even if you're hitting the golf course.
Yeah, I'm staying put. So.
I am staying put as well. I'm planning to do some grilling this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Avoid
wanting to do any of this. I know a lot of you. So this is obviously a mixture: holiday traffic, Friday commute, all that stuff. The Utah County area right now, slow go right now.
Southbound.
Hey,
yep.
If you're doing anything this weekend, take a few minutes and reflect. This is a weekend about bigger things than celebrating. It's, of course, remembering those that have served and given the sacrifice for our country. So that is what's on tap this weekend as well. And as we make our way to Monday, we will not be here on Monday for 2 News Live. There will be a lot of great programming, however, including a couple different weather specials in the 4 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
Very interested to see that, focusing on wildfire and drought. Sterling's a big player in those, so you'll want to be sure you tune in. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday edition of 2 News Live. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe. Do all the right things, please, so we can see you back here on Tuesday for 2 News Live at 5:30.